Fox News. Breaking news.
Well, Democrats in Congress went on a 2-week vacation, leaving 60,000 TSA workers without a single paycheck for over a month. President Trump just did what Washington couldn't. He signed a memorandum directing immediate payment to the men and women keeping our airports safe. Security lines, they were stretching to the curb at America's busiest airports. Over 500 officers quit. Thousands more called out sick because they literally couldn't afford to work for free. And where were the Democrats? Playing political games with your safety. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you about why Democrats are really blocking this funding. I'm going to tell you exactly what is at stake here, because it's not just about government workers, it's about your family's safety. Every single time you step into an airport, when TSA morale plummets, when 10% of officers call out sick in a single day, when security wait times hit 3 hours at major airports, that creates what the White House correctly identified as an unacceptable heightened security risk. This is your national security being held hostage by Democrats who care more about protecting illegal alien criminals than protecting American travelers. Senator Ron Johnson laid it bare. Democrats flooded this country with sex traffickers, human traffickers, potential terrorists, and Iranian sleeper cells under Biden's open border. Now they're refusing to fund the very agencies trying to clean up their mess. Tom Homan, he said it perfectly. You'll see it. Democrats shut down DHS because they want ICE to be less effective. They don't want us catching the murderers. The 11,888 murderers that Biden led into the country, well, apparently Democrats want them to stay. Now, folks, when you see how quickly our government systems can be thrown into chaos, it really makes you think about your own family's preparedness. So if a major disruption happened tomorrow and you couldn't get to the store, how long would you last with what's in your house right now? A week? Maybe 2? If it's anything less than a month, you need to check out our friends at My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with over 3 million satisfied customers who understand that being ready isn't paranoid, it's patriotic. And right now, when you go to preparewithgary.com, their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply comes with an additional week of food absolutely free. That's 5 weeks of peace of mind, knowing your family won't go hungry no matter what Washington's dysfunction throws at us. Don't wait until the next crisis to wish that you'd prepared. Visit preparewithgary.com today. Now let me tell you what the Democrats are really trying to accomplish with the shutdown sabotage. You ready for this? This is the part that should make your blood absolutely boil. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just confirmed that 500 TSA officers actually quit their jobs because of this Democrat-manufactured crisis. Thousands more were calling out sick at record rates. Democrats literally pushed our air travel system to its breaking point, created nightmares for millions of Americans, and then they had the audacity to blame Republicans. President Trump, he found a way around their obstruction. He declared these circumstances an emergency compromising American security, and he took action. So let's take a look at exactly what our leaders are saying about this Democrat disaster. First, we have this actually from Good Morning America, of all places. TSA workers will begin receiving paychecks after President Trump signed a memorandum. Listen.
To you, Robin, more than 60,000 TSA officers have missed 2 full paychecks since this partial shutdown began. Record numbers of officers have called out in recent days as security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports have stretched out to the curb. But today, some expected relief to the system.
This morning, for the first time in a month and a half, TSA officers are expecting paychecks. Overnight, President Trump was asked how long TSA officers will be paid for.
We're going to pay them for as long as we have to.
45 days into a partial government shutdown that has left the Department of Homeland Security unfunded, TSA workers have called out in record numbers. Nearly 3,000, over 10% of the agency, calling out Saturday alone. More than 500 officers have quit since the funding crisis began last month. On Friday, the president signed a memo to redirect funds to give TSA officers their back pay, as lawmakers failed to reach a deal to restore funding before leaving for a 2-week congressional break. TSA officers say today's paycheck can't come soon enough.
The mental strain of not going to work or going to work and not getting paid for 3 out of the last 5 months is just unbelievable.
Security lines have slowed to an hours-long crawl at some of the nation's busiest airports.
Unbelievable indeed. As TSA workers begin to see relief with their checks, President Trump bluntly points the finger at Democrats for the ongoing shutdown while guaranteeing pay from a beautiful bill. Here is the president, says TSA workers will be paid as long as we have to.
Can you pay TSA workers from the One Big Beautiful Bill?
Well, we're going to pay them for as long as we have to. And I will tell you, the ICE workers have been amazing. And that's helping people with their bags. It's very interesting. We put ICE there, and ICE got a very unfair press. They're doing an amazing job getting hardened criminals, murders. 11,888 murders were allowed to come into our country through Biden. And ICE has been amazing. Now, we said, give us a little hand during this period of time, because this is caused by Democrat terrorists. These people are sick. They don't care about our country. They don't care about people. But what it's all about really is they want to have open borders, and they want to have criminals come into our country so they can get more votes, because they're losing votes fast. Look at how I did with the Hispanic population. And now I'm doing even better with the Hispanic population. And that's bad for them. They always had it. Now they don't have it anymore. These are people that want our country to fail, and the voters see that.
He literally called them Democrat terrorists. The president's decisive actions stand in sharp contrast to Democrats in Congress who, according to the press secretary, are pushing our air travel system to its breaking point. Here's the press secretary just moments ago in the White House press briefing.
Unfortunately, even as President Trump is working hard every single day to protect the United States from foreign enemies, Democrats on Capitol Hill have failed to do the same here at home by keeping the Department of Homeland Security unfunded. Over the past 6 weeks, Democrats in Congress have pushed our air travel system to its breaking point and inflicted massive pain on Americans with their reckless political games. 500 TSA officers quit their jobs. Thousands more were calling out sick at record rates due to the lack of pay. This resulted in security wait times exceeding 3 hours at major airports across the country, creating nightmares for millions of Americans. Overall morale among TSA staff plummeted as well. All of this creating an unacceptable heightened security risk. Because of the Democrats' unwillingness to do their basic job of funding DHS, President Trump determined that these circumstances constituted an emergency, compromising American security. That's why last week he accordingly signed a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Homeland Security to work with the Director of the Office of Management and Budget here at the White House to use those funds with a reasonable and logical nexus to TSA operations to provide TSA employees with the compensation and benefits that would have accrued to them but for the Democrat-led DHS shutdown. This bold and necessary action by President Trump will ensure our TSA workers receive their hard-earned paychecks. It should not have come to this point, but President Trump will always do what's right by the American people, and he found a way to do that to get TSA paid. Ensuring that these federal workers who perform critical public safety responsibilities can feed their families, pay their rent, and show up to work is something the president was honored to do. But this moment should be an eye-opening one for the American people. Let's be clear about what is happening. Democrat members of Congress are more than happy to put your safety at risk because they oppose the president's and his administration's efforts to enforce our nation's immigration law. Democrats refuse to fund ICE because they want millions and millions of illegal aliens to pour into the country just like they were under the Biden administration. They want murderers and rapists and thugs to remain in your communities rather than be removed by ICE and Border Patrol agents. The Democrats created this mess. They are the reason for long lines at airports and tens of thousands of employees going without pay. Once again, President Trump is cleaning up their mess because he cares more about the American people than destructive, petty, partisan politics.
Absolutely shameful that this is still going on. The consequences of Democrats' inaction are clear as Senator Ron Johnson backs these claims, emphasizing the refusal to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Here is Senator Ron Johnson.
And all we have to understand is Democrats. It's not Republicans that are refusing to fund DHS. It's Democrats. And you take a look at their record of opening up our border, flooding this country with sex traffickers, human traffickers, potential terrorists, Iranian sleeper cells. We need to fund these agencies, but the Democrats can do this. They can be so obnoxious, so obstructionist, because they are aided and abetted by the mainstream media who will never hold them accountable. So that's a reality we all face. Every Republican, both the Senate and the House, want to fully fund DHS, keep this America safe. It is Democrats who do not want to do that.
Tom Homan takes it even further, calling out Congress for their failures, explaining that Democrats have deliberately stonewalled ICE from enforcing the law effectively. Here he is on Face the Nation.
Look, and the American people hold Congress responsible. They're on vacation right now. Well, tens of thousands of DHS employees aren't being paid.
Right, but Republicans control both chambers. This is the president's party.
The Democrats shut down DHS. They voted shut down DHS because they simply won't fund DHS because they want to change ICE policies so ICE is less effective in the interior. Remember why we're here? We're here because the last 4 years of an open border, millions of people are in this country illegally, many public safety threats, national security threats, and we're out seeking them and arresting them, and they simply don't like ICE enforcing the law. They proved that last 4 years they didn't let ICE enforce the law.
So here's what this is really about, and President Trump said it himself. Democrats, they want open borders. They want criminals to come into our country so they can get more votes. You see, that's not a conspiracy. That's the President of the United States telling you the truth that the media won't. I mean, look at how he performed with Hispanic voters. Better than any Republican in generations, and now he's doing even better. You see, that terrifies Democrats, so they're willing to sabotage airport security, leave 60,000 workers unpaid, and create chaos at every major airport in America just to protect their ability to import a new voter base. The one big beautiful bill would fund DHS completely. Republicans in both chambers want to fully fund Homeland Security. See, it's the Democrats, and Democrats alone, who are blocking it. You see, President Trump is proving once again that when Congress fails, when Democrats play their sick political games, he'll find a way to protect American workers and American security. And he said it himself. He'll pay the TSA workers as long as he has to. You see, that's leadership. That's putting America first, while Democrats put illegal aliens first. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think Democrats are deliberately sabotaging Homeland Security to protect their open border agenda? Yes or no? And since you made it to the end of the video, here's a special gift for you. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. You see, you watch the video to the end. So that means you actually care about the truth that we present here at the Next News Network. So get the truth, regardless of what the algorithm does, regardless of what the notifications claim to be delivered. No. You'll get the notification directly from me to your phone. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. And if you're as fired up about this as I am, share this video with every American who needs to know the truth about who's really causing the chaos. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shelf below this video and show your support for real journalism. I'm Gary Franchi for the Next News Network. Stay informed and stay free.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.